What's up, people? Welcome back to another video. This time I'm gonna go over from the easiest Divine Beast to the hardest in this game. So yeah, it'll be an interesting topic, and let's do this, shall we? So before I go over the Divine Beast, if you guys don't know how to unlock it, you can always check the Monolith. It will tell you where the locations are if you're not sure. But I can post a the notes that I have, so if you're not sure where to get it, I'll put that in the description, and that should help. Alright, let's do this, shall we? Starting off, number 10, I got Flashfang the Ancient. Now the Flashfang of the Ancient is definitely probably the easiest Divine Beast to kill, because this guy really does nothing. I mean, you can just go up there and do DPS without any problem. He does not spam a lot of, attacks or anything. Also, he's the first Divine Beast you'll need to unlock the legendary Blacksmith, so you shouldn't have any trouble. Just have to watch, his attacks in the front, the stomp, and other than that, he really doesn't do too much. Like all the other spiders are pretty much the same thing. They only does like one or two similar attacks, but that's about it. It's pretty easy to dodge with the decent equipment, or not at all, because you don't really need like decent equipment to take on these Divine Beasts. Like, they're pretty straightforward. You can take them out pretty fast with just whatever gear. And then back then when I was level 50, I took them out pretty fast. So yeah, this guy is the easiest and shouldn't have any trouble. Number 9, I got Greeneye the Absent. Greeneye the Absent is actually pretty straightforward. This boss is not difficult at all, because it's similar to the first one, like to unlock the Divine Beast. He really doesn't have too much attack, but you only have to watch out his shields, but that's about it. But if he does have the shields up, you really can't hit him. That's the only worst case scenario. But like I say, most of the bosses in this game are pretty much this similar to one type of enemy. So if you know the enemy patterns, and you do, fight most of them come across before you unlock the Divine Beast, but most of them are similar to the Divine Beast. Like, whatever their attack is, it's gonna be the same as the others. So this one you don't have to worry about too much. I mean, he's not that aggro or anything. You should be able to take him out without any problems. Like for me, all these Divine Beasts are pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not because I have the gears and stuff will take them out a lot easier than used to be. Back then I fought them at level 40 something. I think the level cap was at 50, so it's pretty straightforward. They're not like the hardest thing to fight. It shouldn't be the hardest thing to fight, at the moment, because all these gears. So yeah, this one will be at number 9. And let's move on to the next one. Number 8, I got Earthfang the Lost. This guy used to be like my favorite to fight, because he gives one of the best armor in the game, like for tank. It's really decent to farm him, and to get the Guardian Dragon armor, it's definitely recommended if you're using it for tank or early, if you want more HP and stuff. Yeah, this guy is really straightforward. The only thing you have to worry about is his fire breath, and that's about it. He doesn't really do too much. Like I say, it's gonna be the similar type as all the other Divine Beasts, like similar type, to it. They don't really do too much. Some attacks spam a lot more, but the ones that I place, in the higher ranks are much more, aggressive than, the ones that I replaced in the lower one. But these, they're pretty straightforward. You can definitely take them out pretty easily with just a whatever setup you have, and then they don't really take too much. Just have to watch and watch out their moves and dodge. And yeah, and then that should do it, because like Divine Beast isn't too difficult. I know they have more HP than the raid bosses, like the normal raid bosses, but they're still pretty straightforward to take out. And Guardian Dragon armor is definitely one of the better armor out there if you can get it. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. Number 7, I got Skycrawl the Monstrous. This Divine Beast is actually a bit more tricky than the past few ones. I mean, the whale enemy in this game are pretty dangerous sometimes, especially the one in the extreme. My goodness, because like the way they spam the attack, or the way the bubbles that follows is quite annoying. If it hits you, sometimes it could do the debuffs, or it can cancel you out of the attacks and stuff. It's pretty annoying. But when it does spam, it is really annoying. But ultimately, if you know what you're doing, like most of these bosses aren't difficult or something. But from my experience back in the day, at level 50, fighting these guys are pretty difficult. Some of them are pretty difficult. Whale, it's not the hardest, it's not the easiest, so I placed them in like number 7. This guy is very interesting to farm. Now, for most of the Divine Beasts that you can farm to get certain like weapons and stuff, and they do give you good drop for Legendary Blacksmith, and you do need that for some of the accessory crafts and stuff. So they're not hardest to kill, but there are some really difficult coming up. The whale is definitely one of the tricky one to fight. If you can hazard him or do anything like back then, it will just kept spamming some of the attacks. Like like back then when I fought him, I had no idea how to play this game as much. Like they can be tricky, but the other thing is just always look out for the attack patterns and stuff. Try to dodge. You can actually block the bubbles as well, but yeah, the whale enemy in this game, they're kind of large. Hitbox is so broken because it can lock onto their fins, either the right side or the left side. So you definitely want to lock onto the main body side, because there's really no point trying to destroy their their fins. So you might as well lock onto the main body and do DPS that way. And then this guy should be pretty easy to take out once it's down, or whenever it's hazard, and should be good to go. And yeah. Number 6, I got Bloom Crown Decemberist. This guy is actually, I don't think it's a guy, but but this plan is actually pretty difficult back in the day, like with all these attacks. Like plan type enemy in this game are pretty annoying because they can hit the distance. I know like the one in extreme, they can hit through the wall, so that was pretty like cheesy and stuff. So this guy there, it will be, I think he does have some poisons and like other stuff, like effects. I don't remember what it was, but it's been a while since I fought him, like back in the old days. He wasn't too much of like the challenge, because he always stand like one spot. Also, the one thing I forgot to mention is that you don't have to fight him solo. Just bring like, you can have 4 more wayfarers. If you can't handle them by yourself, you can just sit back, use a bow, snipe, always cheesy, or you can go up there and do DPS if you know what you're doing. And this guy shouldn't be too difficult, but his attack patterns are pretty dangerous, so just be aware of that. Other than that, the flower is always fun to fight in this game. And yeah, let's move on to the next one. Number 5, I got Sunhorn the Vanished. This guy is definitely one of the most annoying divine beasts in this game, because back in the day when I fought this guy, it was a nightmare. My goodness, like, because this guy is so aggressive. His attack, he spam a lot of attack. Like the fox type enemy in this game, they spam quite a bit, so you're gonna have to be careful when you go near them or around them, because they have so many different moves, close, distance, and range as well. it is definitely not easy to fight the fox enemy type. But also the other thing is he runs away as well when you're trying to attack or something. Sometimes he does that backstab, and yeah, it is pretty annoying. Like in extreme, I would rather not fight these type of enemy because they are too aggressive. Like too aggressive, way too much. Like the attack they spam, they can kill you super fast if you don't watch out. Like other than that, this guy really tough. So it's not the hardest, but his attack is probably the most one of the most aggressive. So just have to be careful with whatever he spam and look out for that. And other than that, you'll be fine and don't worry too much. Number 4, I got Thundertail the Vicious. This guy here is actually pretty decent like enemy to fight because he's not like super difficult, but fox, I mean not fox, like the the chimera type enemy, they're always difficult to fight because it can't be as aggressive as the fox type. So definitely watch out for his attack because yeah, this guy, it's almost similar to the fox. If you know what you're doing, then you don't have to worry too much, like distance or close range. Either way is fine, just watch out for his attack patterns. However, like the enemies like around this type, it's always not like really easy to figure out when he's gonna attack or what he does. So definitely take him out as soon as possible, like with all the with like hazard build or whatever. Oh, look at there, like my sword delete, I hit the avalanche, it was down, but it was quite interesting, to fight a chimera type enemy. It was definitely worth the time, and it's really fun to fight him. Besides, sometimes he can be super aggressive. Number 3, I got Lyseeker the Divine. This guy is definitely probably one of the aggressive one as well. Like the dinosaur enemy types, always aggressive. Their attack is pretty heavy, so I recommend not to tank them if you cannot. So definitely do the same strat, trying to see his pattern attack if you're not sure how it goes, because I'm talking like in the perspective that most people haven't beat the Divine Beast yet, but for people who have, it's probably not a big deal. But yeah, but this guy is definitely one of the difficult ones to fight back in the day for sure. Not my favorite, but just because he's spamming attacks and all these attacks are pretty heavy. Other than that, watch out for those, and then you'll be good to go. And don't really have to worry about too much in terms of like some crazy attacks or effects. So it's pretty straightforward, and keep dodging and you'll be fine. Number 2, I got Warwick the Virtuous. Now this guy is definitely, oh my god. The Mantis enemy in this game are probably one of the hardest type enemy, because it can literally block all your attacks, and you could go into with a dual mode and trying to get hazard that way and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely not recommended. But if you're good at it, yeah, go for it. But yeah, other than that, it really blocks everything from the front. So definitely recommend to go side or behind. It's very like it's definitely take precautions, because like the Mantis enemy, they can one-shot you. So this thing is definitely the most scariest, like while trying to do South Raid and stuff, because you have to fight this before you get to the boss. And this thing on higher difficulty can one-shot you. Plus all the parry is definitely like super annoying. And last but not least, I got Horn the Abominable. Oh my goodness. This guy here is definitely the worst type of Divine Beast or type of enemy you can possibly find in this game at the moment, because dang, first of all, it has a lot of defense. Second, he spams a lot. Oh my goodness. Like back in the day, fighting this guy was a nightmare. Like without knowing what God roll is, and plus that dude can literally one-shot you. Oh, that was good time, huh? Because any type of frog enemy, they're like, in the game, they're always a super high defense, and plus they can deal a lot of damage, and their AoE is huge. Like even you're not close and you can still get hit by it. That's why this guy, this type of enemy in the shards, when you farm the shards, yeah, he is definitely not the easiest to farm. You know, that time you can see why. I don't know why they make the frog enemy so OP in this game, but hey, it is what it is. Definitely recommend to put a God robe on if you have. Trying to hazard him and down him if you can. If you don't, then you're gonna have to want to stand a little bit further back, because if you don't use God robe, your only choice is go further with a bow in the distance. Because if you want to get close to him, forget it. Like if he can one-shot you, yeah, it is not easy to. Yep, there's my Sword Elena's avalanche again. Instant down the enemy, very useful. Yeah, this guy's defense is extremely high. He can tank a lot. You know, like the HP is high, so the attack is OP. This is pretty much all of the things that you don't want from a Divine PC has it. So that's why I put it in the #1 spot. Anybody who fought this frog, it's always #1 spot. It was a hate to fight either that or the Mantis. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it. The easiest to the hardest. And yeah, next time come back, I got more videos. Until next time.